Hi, we're going to add ActionScript in this next part of the demonstration. ActionScript is a way of controlling the flow of the movie or of the animation or whatever it is that you're doing in Flash. And right now, the way we have it playing is if we played this thing, it would simply loop over and over and over again. And I've extended some of the frames at the end, so at least it pauses at the very end. But this over and over nature is something we want to control. So here's how we can do that. First of all, when you do anything in ActionScripts, I suggest you create for yourself a brand new layer and give it that name, Actions. And then you decide where you want a movie to stop. We're going to start with the stop action script. It's really easy. Just decide where it is you want to have it stop. Click on the Actions layer and create a keyframe with the F7 key. It just creates an empty keyframe so that you have some place to hold the script. And what will happen is when this thing runs along, when it gets to that frame, it'll execute whatever commands you have in that particular keyframe. Now to put the actions in, hit the F9 key to bring up the actions palette. And this can be docked and undocked if you want to see what's going on. What's tricky about this is it will put the actions on whatever element you have clicked on last. And if you click on that keyframe, that's where the actions will go. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put in the stop command. And the stop command is one that gets used so much you'll memorize where it is. It's under global functions. By the way, make sure you're seeing ActionScript 1 and 2 up here. If it says ActionScript 3, you can take it back to 1 and 2. This will be a little easier for this tutorial. Global functions. The third item down is timeline control, and down near the bottom is stop. Just double click it, and that's all there is to it. The movie now, when you play it, will always stop at that particular frame and freeze there as though this thing is just a graphic on Photoshop. Now I have some other fancy things going on here with cycling animations within animations, but everything's frozen right where it was. So that's the first level of ActionScript. Now I'm going to go on to the second level of ActionScript. The second level would be nice if we could get the thing to play again and continue rolling. So I'm going to put a button in that same actions frame. A button can be had very easily. You can make one from scratch or you can get one from a common library. I'm going to go get one from the library. Under common libraries there's a whole raft of buttons that you can choose from. And in this particular case I'm going to go look for a nice oval button. And it'll be blue just because. And I'm going to drag that right into the stage. And it's gone into the same frame where the ActionScript lives right now. And by the way, you can tell there's ActionScript in there because it has that little alpha symbol. So there's already some code in there. The next bit of code we're going to attach to the button though. This button has some neat states to it. When you hover over it, it gives you feedback to let you know that it's a button. But otherwise it does nothing. So to give this thing some superpowers, once again we'll bring up that Actions palette. Now right now, because we've selected the keyframe up here, it's showing us what the actions are there. But if we select the button, it'll show us what's going on with that button. And at this point, nothing is going on with it. So now we're going to give some actions to the button that we've selected here. Now, to make buttons work, we've got to go back to the movie clip controls. We're back in global functions, but the first item there, movie clip control, you have to decide how the button is going to function, and that's done with the on statement. So we're going to double click on. When you double click on, it prompts you with some of the possibilities and variations, and we're going to go with on release. So when you let go of the button, something's going to happen. Now in between the two curly brackets, anything you put there is what's going to be executed when the button has been clicked and released. I'm going to hit the enter key. For good format, it's going to indent and create a little hierarchy of the commands in there, but we only have one command we want to put in there. We just want it to start playing the movie again. So I'm going to go back to timeline control. Now before we use stop, this time we're going to use play. Double click play at the backspace key so it's nice and neat up there. And that's the whole bit of script. On release, play. Good enough. I'll close the actions palette now. Everything's in there and the button only appears in that last frame, so it only appears when the stop happens. So now it looks like this. It stops. Now when I hit the button, notice the button has a little change of state, but when I click it, the movie is now playing until it loops back again and starts. So the last thing I'm going to do just to clean this thing up, I'll close this thing too, is when it starts playing, it simply resumes playback along this part of the timeline, and we really don't need all these extra frames here anymore. So I'm going to get rid of them with a Shift F5. Now we'll try it one more time. When this thing is released and hits the play, it's going to snap right back to the very beginning. We'll just confirm this is working right. So when we hit enter, bam, right back to the beginning again. So it gives you a little control over your movie. And that's your introduction to action scripts and buttons. Good luck, give it a try.